When the days are long and the nights are endless, when I no longer wait for a friend to call me, I go and stand next to the window grill, looking out into the sky. I can hear my Baba, my father, calling me out. Come, my little baby, come. This was just a translation from a very popular Bengali song. Hello, friends, joining you today in celebrating Father's Day. Whatever I am today, I am because of my father, my Baba, my benevolent father. My father was no celebrity. He was no icon. He was my father. I'm not going to talk about his earnings or his positions. I am only going to talk about what he was, who he was as my Baba. His name was Niranjan Chakravarti. I feel I'm going to fall short of words today, and time is going to run out if I have to sum up what my Baba was. My mother is a doctor. She's still a practicing doctor, and she was always busy, of course, as a calling. And Baba was there to be with us. He was my pillar of strength, my lighthouse, my constitution of values. He was the beginning of all things. It is he who taught me love, life, and literature. As I said, I can't sum him up, but I will pick up a few moments of my life with him, which have made me the person I am, which are just unforgettable, etched forever. One thing, he was a vibrant, buoyant spirit, loud, lively. He would be singing, dancing, reciting all the time. And it is my Baba who made me understand that home is not a place, home is a person, home is a feeling. My first memories of him is of a time when we had Hindustan 14 and my little sister was born and he drove us. That was one of my first rides with my father. I sat on the seat next to him and he drove me to the hospital and telling me all the way that I'm going to get you a beautiful doll. I also remember my rides with him on the scooter that we had, the Lambretta. He took me to the railway station, to the market, to Mama's clinic, to my school, and I was actually discovering the world with him. He had time galore for me, for my siblings. I have another memory. Well, when I was in class 5, he bought me the Hero cycle, which was a 21-inch cycle, and I was not very tall for it. But for months together, Baba patiently taught me how to pedal and then seat myself. And I still remember how gently he would push me until the bicycle and I became friends. And Baba stood as a mere spectator, applauding me every now and then. There's another memory of him. There was this PTM, and I was in class 8, and I had done miserably in my math and my science papers. And I still remember he was sitting face to face with my math teacher, and she said to my father, Purna hasn't performed well, very disappointed with her performance, and she's just not putting in her efforts. I remember what my father said. He just pulled out the report card and showed it to my math teacher, saying, Miss, if you see, she's done excellently well in English, in Hindi, in history, in geography, in art. She's not a dull child. That line has motivated me for time and again, for years to come. That one sentence he said, my child is not a dull child. And I also remember PTMs were very exciting, parent-teacher meetings. and the day the report card would be given, because no matter what the report was, he would always treat me to ice creams at the end of everything. I would remember there would be parents, scolding, giving advice, but my father would still pamper me no matter what my report card stated. I have another memory of my father, and that is something he taught me for life. It was a life lesson. Throughout the year, he would be giving us little amount of money, maybe 50 paisa, maybe 1 rupee. In those days, 2 rupees were, of course, huge money. And we had these earthen piggy banks, and he would teach us to save money and then spend it during the pujas. The Durga Puja time, we were rich girls, my sister, my friends, we would be so rich because we had been saving throughout the year, and during the puja times, we would be just um, running from one stall to another. I can speak on behalf of my siblings today. Whenever Baba went to shop in the evening, to the vegetable market or the nearby grocer, he would take us along, the three of us. And he would never take us to that crowded, noisy bazaar. He would make us stop at a place. There was this famous Rohit Chaat Center. And you see what he would do there. He would make us stand and he would tell the owner, "Ye jo khana chahe, inko khilaiye." I miss you, Baba. I haven't had anybody who would say that to me. He would just say, "Inka jo man kare wo khilaiye." So batashe endless, bhalle endless, dahi bada endless. And he would be gone for an hour, and the three of us would be munching. And like gluttons, we would be hogging. And he would come back carrying bags, and each one of us would, rush forward to help him out, and he would bring us home. The Rohit Chaat Center is still there in Lucknow. And each of us miss Baba whenever we cross that road. I have another very beautiful moment etched in my mind. Just after my intermediate examination, my class 12 boards, I had ample of time. So Baba asked me to come and help me in his office. He had a huge table with a glass cover. And on my very first day in the office, when I was settling his shelves and stocking up his things, I suddenly noticed that underneath that glass cover, there were several, iCards and visiting cards and birthday cards. And suddenly my eyes fell on a piece of paper. And I stood there and I noticed, those were my history notes and the handwriting was mine. So I asked him, "Baba, how come this is here?" And you wouldn't believe. He had such a sweet and the gentlest of smile on his face. And he said, "I love your handwriting. I really love your handwriting. So while last week you were selling out all your old textbooks and notebooks to the kabadiwala, I just tore out a page and I have kept it." I mean, this was another way of appreciating my handwriting. I remember that I owe my fearlessness to my dad. There was a little fight I had picked up with a boy in the neighborhood. He would follow me to school and I was getting agitated. And I think I must have replied him back in full gusto and came home and I spoke to my mother about it. She was panic struck. She said, "Why did you pick up a fight? This is not the way girls behave." And I remember my father smiling and he said, "Well done, keep it up. Solve your problems on your own." You see, these were lessons he was teaching me all the time. And the dining space in our house, was the most happening adda, as we call it. We would discuss music, we would discuss literature, we would discuss love, we would discuss people, but we wouldn't gossip. Gossip wasn't a part of the agenda. And one big lesson that Baba taught me, was this too shall pass. I flunked in mathematics repeatedly, year after year. And his one statement would be, this too shall pass, don't worry, only till class 10 you need to carry it along, and then you will be liberated and you will have your own subjects. And before I end my conversation, I have one memory etched in my mind. And that is about a time I remember, when I grew up and I was beginning to take up responsibilities at home. Baba would always be there. He would always be there to help me out. And those were the days when electricity would be gone for us together. And I would be stuck up and I would say, how do I manage making dinner? And Baba would say, don't worry, I'll get the rumali rotis and the kebabs. Don't you worry, sweetheart. He was always there with the solution. I remember there were times when I would be upset with Ma, and he would bridge the gap and say, it's okay. He would make my mom understand about me, and he would make me understand about her. And friends, if my sister was to be here today and speak about Baba, she would be saying the same things. If my brother was to be here today and say some lines about my dad, he would be saying the same things, because he made each one of us feel so special. I have never tasted a particular kind of sweet ever since he left. It's been 17 years that Baba is not there. But who says Baba is not there? He's there in me. Each day when I open my windows wide open in the morning, I know it's Baba in me who does it. He's the sunshine I see in the morning. He's the gentle breeze that touches me. He's the invisible hand that pats me in the night and puts me to sleep when I cannot sleep. I love my father because he loved my mom. Our house was so beautiful because of my Baba. He would appreciate my mother when she would wear a beautiful sari. I don't remember any of their anniversaries when he did not bring her gifts, be it a little trinket, bangles, sweets, saris, whatever it be. My father was fundamentally a fakir, I would say, He was so simple, so simple. And that's what he actually left for us. Simplicity, beauty, and to enjoy nature. But as I said before, I just wind up my conversation. There was one incident. I was in college at that time, and Baba was sleeping. He was a little tired and he was sleeping. And although I was in my late teens, I must have been 18 or 19, but I was a wild child, a mischievous sort of a child. And I don't know what happened. I was up to some prank. I picked up a bright red nail polish and I painted Baba's toenails all red. He got up in the morning, and to his surprise, he saw his toenails painted red. My mother shrieked out in anger, and she called out for me. And Baba was in fits of laughter. He just looked at me and he said, you did it, the naughty one. And I said, yes. And that was it. And you wouldn't believe Ma went on pestering him to rub it off, but he wouldn't. He enjoyed wearing that nail polish till it naturally wore off. I have not tasted mangoes, or I have not enjoyed mangoes ever since Baba passed away. There was no summer. The house would not be filled with the cherries. He loved to feed us. He loved to be with us. I take great pride whenever people say I look like my father, I speak like my father, or I have inherited some of his gestures. I am definitely my dad's daughter, and he's there with me. Love you, Baba.